Hello everybody, this is Frank Does Fish Tanks and I am Fish Tank Frank. This video will be a little bit different than the other videos, mainly because a lot of the footage I will show isn't made or owned by me. So of course credits will go out to the respective owners and producers of these videos. I will list them in the description and on the end of the video. So I won't hold you guys up any longer and let's get into the subject of the video, which is 5 popular aquarium fish that are banned or illegal in other areas. So we're gonna start off with the fish that's actually illegal in my own country, which is the sun perch or pumpkin seed. The pumpkin seed is native to North America but was brought over to Europe to fight the mosquito larvae and leeches in garden ponds and remains very popular for this reason to this day. However, the pumpkin seed quickly found themselves in other bodies of water, eating the larvae of native insects, fish and tadpoles, and outcompeting native, and it quickly became an invasive species. Since 2016 they are banned from the pet trade, which I find to be a shame because it's a species I would definitely consider keeping, because I think they're really pretty and they can be trained to eat out of your hand, which I think is really cool since I'm a fan of fish that display character traits that are not easily found in other aquarium fish. Plus I hate mosquitoes and my enemy's enemy is my friend, right? It's not likely I will own one very soon, because I'm not a fan of breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law. So next up we have snakeheads. Oh, wrong snakehead. Is this the right one? There we go. A lot of snakehead species have been distributed all over the world as a food source for people. However, these fish have taken their place as apex predator in a lot of their new habitats, disrupting the ecosystem and disturbing native animals. Due to their ability to breathe atmospheric oxygen and being able to survive out of water for a couple of days, they are able to spread rapidly and cover large areas. A lot of species are illegal in most of the United States, and according to some sources the EU will make the whole genus illegal to keep in Europe as well. Although some of the chunky boys like the blotched snakehead and the monstrous northern snakehead are likely to become too comfy when released. The climate in Europe, there isn't really anything to worry about for most of the other species since they are adapted to more tropical temperatures and often don't get really big. Personally, I'm not a supporter of the ban because there are some really pretty snakeheads out there, like the rainbow snakehead, the barca snakehead, and the emperor snakehead that looks a bit like an Oscar, that I would really want to keep someday in the future. Next up we have a fan favorite and a bit of a cheater since it's actually more of a pond fish than an aquarium fish, and that's the koi. I will also put the European carp in this entry because they often get considered the same species depending on what store you're in. The European carp is obviously a species originating from Europe, but koi are captive bred specimens originating from Asia. Now, this is a bit of a weird entry because however it's legal to have koi in Australia and export them out of the country, it's illegal to take them back into the country. As you might know, carp are known for being the equivalent of a bulldozer and a poop machine in a fish's body. The people that keep koi or other carp species know what I'm talking about. Carps are really destructive if it comes to plants and such. They're also capable of rapidly outnumbering native species and produce a lot of waste, having disastrous effects on the water quality. In Queensland you cannot even own these without a proper permit. Now we're gonna talk about world's easiest aquarium fish, the white cloud mountain minnow, also known as the Chinese danio or the poor man's neon tetra. It's a species that can tolerate colder temperatures than the average tropical freshwater fish, while still having a wide temperature range. The fact that it doesn't have very high standards in environmental quality and that it's basically bulletproof are very likely the reasons why this little squirt is banned in parts of the USA and Canada. Because of how hardy this fish is and how similar the conditions in the banned areas are to its native area, which is China, it's very safe to use. This fish will become an invasive species and outcompete the native fish in this area. Now where I'm from, the fish is still legal. I keep 10 or so in my DIY pond in the backyard. I haven't gotten the chance to film them because I don't have a GoPro to film underwater, and some of them will take part in a future project of mine. They're part of a breeding project I'm doing. Some of them will go to fish stores, other will go in my new quarantine tank to keep the tank cycled. And some will go to my cold water aquarium project, where I will pair them with rosy minnows, rainbow shiners and paradise fish. With the former entries being mainly about invasive species, we're now taking a turn and talk about a fish that's banned in some places due to the opposite reason. Of course, we're talking about the sturgeon, or actually all of them. Again, I'm a bit cheating here since they are kept mostly in ponds instead of aquaria, and most of them are capable of entering salt water. Due to being endangered, a lot of species aren't allowed to be kept in captivity without proper permits. Sometimes species like the diamond sturgeon and the sterlet can often be found in the pet trade, and in some cases you need to register to buy a sturgeon. But the general rule is, if a sturgeon lives in your area, you probably aren't allowed to keep it. Sturgeons are an ancient group of fish that have been around since before the dinosaurs. Most species have adapted to live in both fresh and salt water, and they have spread all over the world. The largest species are the beluga sturgeon and the somewhat smaller Kaluga sturgeon. The beluga sturgeon can measure up to almost 6 meters in length, and the Kaluga can reach a length of more than, making the Kaluga sturgeon possibly the largest freshwater fish on Earth, since the beluga sturgeon is mostly found in saltwater. Sturgeons are under the pressure of building dams, poaching and overfishing, mainly because they're widely sought after for their caviar, which is an expensive delicacy in some places. Pollution also plays a big role in their status as endangered animals, since they have high standards if it comes to water quality. Due to this video, you might have a clue who played a role in ruining that for our sturgeon. It is funny how one of the entries ended up being the reason for another entry making this list, showing the two sides of the story, which is pretty interesting if you ask me. So yeah, I hope this video gave you a better understanding about that most bans on fish aren't without valid reason. This would wrap up the video nice, but unfortunately, because I love you guys so much, I'm gonna hit you with another bonus fish, which isn't exactly one species, nor is it a pure species, because it's basically a hybrid carrying genes of completely different animals. Of course, I'm talking about the controversial glowfish, a variety of fish species modified with DNA from different organisms, so they can give off a glow in bright specific color, like green, red, orange, blue, purple, yellow and pink. So where do these colors come from? They come from jellyfish, sea pansies, open brain corals, mushroom corals, octocorals, sea anemones, stony corals, and possibly many more creatures that give off bioluminescence. The genes are transferred to the first generation of fish, who give birth to the second generation of fish, maintaining the genes for the bright colors, so each generation doesn't need to be injected with new colors. So there is no fish abuse leading to thousands of colorful fish. Then why are these illegal in the EU? Well, that's simply because they don't have a market permission yet. And that's necessary for genetically modified organisms to be sold in the EU. What once started with zebra danios has currently spread to tiger barbs, black skirt tetras, but also less social species like rainbow sharks and even betta fish. Kinda makes you wonder when Glowfish is gonna release a Glowfish pleco. Crap! Now I brought them on ideas. I am definitely not a fan of Glowfish. Not because I have a problem with genetically modified fish, but because of the system on which the new genes work and the brand surrounding it. First off, the genes make the colors really pop in bright light, which a lot of fish don't like at all. This is stressful to the fish, especially the tetras. Besides that, the chances of customers skipping research is more likely to be bigger if the fish are branded with the Glowfish brand. The assumption that Glowfish are generally easy and above all schoolers is very easy to make for people picking up their first pet, especially with the first 3 species being schoolers. But then Glowfish introduces the Glowfish sharks and the Glowfish betta, which should not ever be kept with individuals of their own species, My theory goes that it's very likely for glowfish owners looking for new friends or people about to start with glowfish as their first fish to think these are schoolers as well. And they end up buying a school of them. Yes, this sounds like me being overly skeptical of humanity, thinking that the general person is an idiot. Looking back on the theory while making this video, I thought it was a bit far-fetched as well. But then, during footage scouting, I found this video that basically confirmed my theory. These are two glowfish rainbow sharks fighting it out. I have kept all the 4 available varieties of the genus myself, so I know that this is a fight to the death. Because every single one of them hate their own species' guts, as well as the guts of their genus members. Now, I don't want to put hate on all glowfish owners, because there are so many people out there that know how to take care of these fish and have looked into the species they chose to keep. I also don't want this to be an attack to the people who just didn't know any better. No worries, we've all been there, but please look into what you want to get before going for it. It saves you a ton of drama, a ton of money. I make these videos to educate and help the newcomers to the hobby improve, not to spread hate. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe. I've been Fish Tank Frank, and this was Frank Does Fish Tanks. Bye everyone.